welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about this holster company right here, and this holster specifically. We're going to mention this one a little bit, but mainly I'm going to be talking about this holster. So this is the Werkz holster. This specific model, as you can see here, and I'll show this once, is right here. It's the M6 inside the waistband holster, and this one is specifically made for a TLR7. This is a TLR7A is what I have in here. But I've been using this holster for, let me put that up, a little while now, probably a couple months. But I've actually, and that's just this one here specifically, I've actually been carrying with this holster, which this holster here is made for the Olight Mini Valkyrie. This is not the, this is the original. It's only, I think, 300 or 400 lumens. It's not the newer one that's brighter. So that shows you how old this holster is, and I've been using this one pretty much forever until they sent out this one. So I actually contacted Werkz because I bought that one years ago and I liked it. I had a couple issues with that one, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But they resolved them with their newer models, so I don't know when they implemented the new changes, but just know that if you ordered one of these a couple of years ago, they had made significant improvements on their newer holsters. So I contacted them and said, hey, I'm about to buy a TLR7. And just so you know, for all you wondering, you can see it's empty. I contacted them and said, hey, I'm going to be buying a TLR7 because I want to upgrade from the Olight. I had a few issues I didn't really like about the Olight, so I asked them if they'd be willing to send out a holster to go with my new light, and they said sure. So they sent this out, and one of the things I actually asked them about is if they made holsters with a thicker Kydex material, because one of the issues I had with their older ones is it was a little bit thinner of a Kydex than I really liked, and because of that it had a little bit too much squish. And I'll show you here in a second. I'll put the Olight back on that gun and put it in here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But because of that, it didn't have as tight a retention as I personally like. Now, granted, 90% of the people out there are probably going to like how well this one fits because they generally like it a little bit looser. I like my Kydex holster to be super tight where I can tip it upside down, and no matter how hard I try, I can't get it to come out. I want it to actually pull my belt and pants up a little bit as I draw the gun. I prefer more retention. I'd rather have too much retention than not enough retention, I guess. And that was one of my complaints with that one, is I tightened it all the way down and it still wasn't as tight as I would have liked it. It was still tight enough to retain the gun, but I wasn't confident in that one over there that if I were to jump up and down or get knocked around or roll around on the ground, whatever it was, that it would necessarily stay in there. I'm sure it would, but I tend to over build stuff. I tend to be overly cautious. I tend to kind of go a little bit above and beyond what's necessary. But this one right here, whenever I got this in my hands and I put the holster in, I was pleasantly surprised because this sucker is tight. So this one is, as you can see, the rubber on there is not nearly, you can see how smashed on the old ones are, how much I had to tighten that, how much gap there is. Notice this one is not anywhere near tightened down as much, and the retention on this one is actually more than that one. So they got the retention right on this one. And this one, I'll show you here. I'll go ahead and show you that now. So go ahead and put in, this is a full mag. You can see it's all the way full. It's a 15 round mag for my Glock 19. We'll put this in here. So if I take this and I were to shake it upside down, I'm shaking it pretty well. It won't fall upside down. Shake it this way. I can maybe, nope, still won't come out. So this is as loose as it'll go. And well, at least as loose as it'll go without the screws rattling. And it will not come out. And it still has very solid lockup. You can feel that whenever it comes out. Now you can tighten this thing down even more, but there's a very, very solid click with this holster, specifically with the TLR7. And I really, really like that because, again, you never know if you might end up on the ground with somebody who's trying to beat you up, rob you, whatever it is, and you don't want your gun falling out of your holster. One of the things you'll also notice on here, this holster actually came with this little tab, wing, whatever you want to call it. This is designed to go right here, and it sticks out, and this allows it to get tucked farther into your body. So if your body is right here, normally the holster would stick out a little bit, and all that wing does is it causes the belt to force the grip into your body more. So for me, again, if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm a pretty skinny dude. So this one right here was actually too aggressive. And it pushed it a little bit too much into my body, and it caused my belt to stick out just a smidgen. Now, if you're a normal sized person, you would actually probably really like this. But if you're really skinny like me, this might be a little bit too much. So I tried it. I just took it off and just tried it without this wing right here. and it worked just fine. But I actually had this wing, and this is an old 3D printed one that actually came with their older holster, and I don't believe they use the 3D printed material anymore. But it's just a smidgen shorter, if you can see on here. So I don't know if you can tell a difference, but it's just a little bit shorter. It's a little bit, it's obviously more narrow, it's skinnier. But I'll show you on this one about what that other one is. So if you can see that line kind of right here, right underneath what looks like a Picatinny rail, right where that line is about how tall the other one is. So a criticism, I guess, or a preference, you know, maybe whenever they have the checkout option or something, is to include another one of these. It's just a little bit shorter than this one for us skinny dudes. I'd appreciate that. But again, you could take this off, and if you're my size, you don't need one of these wings, and not with this holster. And I'll show you why. So, for one, they have this right here. If you notice on their older model, all they have is there's this little tab right here, or this little spot that locks onto the Olight, but it's kind of, you know, just formed to the gun itself. There's nothing bulging out. On this one, they have this big giant piece right here. As you can tell, it kind of sticks out. So what that does, it does two things. So this is hard to do with the camera angle, but so for one, this little bump right here, it causes the gun, the muzzle, to go away from your body just a little bit. So for those of you who carry Appendix, you know, you might feel better about it not pointing at yourself. So that's one thing it does. But what I also notice it does is this acts very much like a wing, because it's kind of sticking out a little bit right here. It actually forces the gun inwards just a little bit because there's more material on this side. So really, if you're a skinny dude like me, you don't really even need the tab. But for me, this little wing was perfect. So another thing works if you do have any more of these laying around, you know, put it as an option in the cart. But this, I haven't seen this on any other holster. At least, I mean, I've looked at quite a few different holsters out there, name brand ones, and none of them have had this option. But I thought this was genius. So whoever came up with this, works awesome. So another thing you'll notice, and let me take this out of the holster. So another thing you'll notice about this is it has suppressor height sights, or room for suppressor height sights. So you can see it's very, very forgiving there. Their older model was very skinny. It still fit in there. But the reason why they made this one so fat is because you can attach, see all these 4 holes right here. You can attach something like this. This is just a mag carrier. You can screw it in here, 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 wherever you wanted it. And I personally don't carry that way because I actually carry this on the left side of my body. So I guess technically I carry cross draw appendix. I don't know if that's a thing, but I carry more on the left side of my belly button, even though I'm right-handed. And that's just because I'm skinny, and that's the only way I can fully conceal a gun. I can carry on the other side, and if I use this wing specifically and carry on the other side, it does conceal better. But it just feels weird. I don't know. I'm used to the other way, so I just prefer this. But that is one nice thing about this right here, is it forces it into your body even without the wing. So smart on them. This is a nice addition. One thing I will say about their little mag pouch, they sent this to me too. Again, this holster, this mag pouch, and these little loops over here they sent me. So just full disclosure there. But one thing I like about this, and I'll compare it here to an Amazon special thing I got. So this one right here, if you can see, let's see if the name shows up. It's Ambi. Hopefully, yeah, there it goes. It's Ambi. I found this on Amazon a while back. It has a little tension device right here where you make it the tension more or less, and it's basically just a metal spring or a plastic spring that just adds tension on your magazine. And it's fine. It doesn't really lock in place. It's just tension, but it works fine. I use this every now and then whenever I want to carry it. Most of the time I'm lazy and I throw my extra mag in a pocket. But if you wanted to use something like this, they're... One, if you notice on here, it's pretty much straight up and down with the clip. Versus this, they actually angle it. So if you notice on here, well, it'll help if I put it in the correct way. So you hear that? And you see this little detent right there. So notice where the mag catch is. Hear that click. This thing locks in there solid. I really like that lockup because, you know, just like the holster, it locks in there really well. So they did good with this. Also, one of the other things I like about this that I don't like about this is, well, one, this is straight up and down, but two, this is angled. So that angle makes it, one, easier to draw from. So whenever it's on your body, it's more like this, and it's on your left side. And so whenever you draw, it's at a nice slanted angle where you can just pull up and draw from it and your index properly. I really like that. I like that angle. It also makes it conceal a little bit better. So if you're looking for a good concealment option, and say you're a skinny dude like I am, and you need all the help you can get for carrying basically a full-size gun, this is a really good option. But I really like how this snaps into place with that detent. That was smart on their part. And so again, here's their older holster with the Olight. And you can hear there is a good click. It does lock in place, and if you turn it upside down, it doesn't fall out. If you shake it a little bit, it doesn't fall out. But if you shake it hard at all, it'll fall right out. So this is one, whenever I emailed them, I actually asked if they had a thicker material. They said, oh yeah, all their material now for their newer holsters are actually this thicker material. And I'll show you that. You can see. So if you look at this one, hopefully you can see how thin this is. You can see kind of how thin that Kydex material is. Again, this is their older one. Their newer one, I don't know if you can tell in here, but it is substantially beefier. This one you can squish fairly easily. Again, the old one. The new one, you can squish it in right here, but if you try to push it anywhere around the outside edges, like, it's substantially beefier. I don't know what the measurements are, whichever. I don't know what the measurements are for the specific Kydex. You can look that up on their site, but they do mention that they use a thicker Kydex for their holsters. And they do. I think this runs around $70. I'll annotate it somewhere around here. I don't know, maybe up in that corner. But that is a very good price for what you get. And again, it has a suppressor height sights cut out, just standard. It has a red dot sight. You can see, doesn't interfere at all. So if you have one of the big giant, mailboxes, I forgot who makes those, Aim Point, then it'll fit on there fine. Everything will fit on here fine because the cutout is so far forward. You'll see the trigger guard. Some people may not like that you can actually see the trigger ever so slightly in there, but that's the trade-off whenever you have a holster that's light bearing. I don't have any Kydex holster that's for a light bearing gun that doesn't have some sort of gap right here. And that's just because the flashlight on the vast majority of guns is wider, and you can see it is on this one as well. It's wider than the gun itself. So in order to actually fit in the holster, this area here has to be wider than the trigger guard. That's just how it works. If you don't like that, don't have a light on your gun, I guess. That's just part of how it goes. And for those of you who are wondering about this mag pouch here, here's the name of that. It's their Radius magazine carrier. In case you're interested in that, they don't send this all in one package. You have to buy these individually. But if you're looking for that capability, that's a good option. So again, my overall thoughts of this thing are, I actually really, really like this holster. So again, the only complaint I would have is with their newer wing attachments. If they either, one, just made this a little bit shorter, or just put two different sizes in there. I'm sure these things aren't expensive. Charge me another $1 and put two different options in there so I can kind of choose for my body shape and size which one I like, because this older 3D printed one, being a little bit shorter, worked perfectly for me. So now again, if you're regular size, the one that comes with it, you'll probably love. I'm just a small dude. So I like the wing attachment, but really you may not even need it because of this smart feature right here. I like how it angles it away from your body. So those of you who are worried about shooting yourself in the junk or whatever, then you don't have to worry about that anymore. But it also presses the gun into your body just naturally. And I really, really like that. I have not seen another company do that. And I think that is really, really smart. So, and also again, the lockup is ridiculously good. I can tighten this thing so much to where the gun will not come out of the holster. And I like that. I like the extra security. I don't want my gun flopping out if I have to wrestle with somebody, or if I'm just going for a jog, or, I don't know, aliens attacking, I have to run to my car, whatever. I don't want stuff falling out, so I like that. But if you guys have any questions about this, it also does have a high sweat guard on there. If you don't like it, cut it off. I didn't have one on the old one. It didn't bother me. Yeah, my gun got sweaty. I didn't care. It's a Glock. If it rusts, it rusts, whatever. Clean your gun every now and then if you're that worried about it. As you can see, there's no rust on this, and I carried it in that one for a long time. So I don't mind sweat guards. I don't care to pay extra for them, but if it's included in the price, whatever. If you don't like it, get your Dremel out, cut that bad boy off. But having it on there, it is nicer because it's kind of a consistent feel that's up against your skin. So now that I've had it, I do like it better than not having it. But to me, it's not something that's worth paying extra for. So I like they just include it in there. They don't charge you, an extra $5 to include that. One last thing I forgot to mention is you can see under here, they do have extra holes so you can tilt this clip, either direction you want, or you can make it a little bit taller if you want it deeper or a higher carry. That is an option as well. So they've pretty much thought of everything for this holster. It is open on the end in case you were curious. But again, if you have any questions about this holster specifically, let me know. But one thing I'll also mention is I didn't know that they had a YouTube channel, so I actually looked on there. They have a bunch of really useful videos when it comes to weapon-mounted lights, testing to see like lumens and candela, and it's really interesting. So even if you don't buy this thing, go to their YouTube channel and look at their videos, because I found them extremely helpful, and I haven't seen any other videos that were like that. So kudos to them. Werkz, if you're watching this, keep making videos like that, because they're useful. But again, if you like this kind of content, give us a like, subscribe, comment down below. If you comment down below, it really helps the algorithm, it helps other people find this. So anyways, hopefully y'all have a good one.